8 key questions that could be answered during the winter meetings week. Number 1, where does Aaron Judge sign? It seems like it's going to be the Giants or the Yankees. Aaron Judge, Ken Rosenthal's reporting that it's increasingly likely that he's going to get a 9-year deal. That seems like it has the Giants written all over it because the Yankees, with Brian Cashman there, they don't act with their emotions. Like, they give, maybe the Yankees with, Garrett Cole, maybe that was a little emotions. 9 years, that seemed, $324 million, that was a lot. But they don't act with their emotions. Like we saw with Derek Jeter, they said when he was a free agent, they said, we're offering you this. Go on the free agent market. If you have a better offer, okay, then bring it back to us. But they let him go to the free agent market and say, okay, we're fine with the offer we have. He didn't get a better offer. I think he took a pay cut of like 30%. So 8 years, $300 million is the offer that we're hearing, according to Jeff Passan, that the Yankees have on the table for Aaron Judge. I would expect that to increase once the Giants make their offer. The Giants, you would think, according to Ken Rosenthal here, would offer 9 years. The Dodgers are in it, but short term, so they're not really in it. Aaron Judge, this is his big crack at free agency. He's going to go get a long-term deal. So it's Yankees versus Giants for Aaron Judge. I think that a deal is going to get done this week. I mean, when it's only 2 teams, and Aaron Judge has already said that he wants to sign early, so whatever team he signs with can kind of build around him. I have no reason to believe why it can't get done this week. The Yankees got the Garrett Cole deal done at the winter meetings in San Diego in 2019, and I think we could see a similar situation here with Aaron Judge. So that's number 1. Number 2, where do the Mets pivot? After losing Jacob deGrom to the Texas Rangers, 5 years, $185 million, which I don't blame the Mets for not offering Jacob deGrom. They offered him, I think, 3 years, $120 million, and that was a lot of money for a guy that hasn't thrown more than 100 innings in the last, 3 years. So where do they pivot to now? I mean, deGrom, it's a big hole. He's the best pitcher in baseball, I think, when he's healthy. So are they going to go to Kolas Rodon? Not Seiya Suzuki. Are they going to go to Kodai Senga? What about Chris Bassett, Taijuan Walker, Justin Verlander? I'm hearing some things. I think John Heyman's been reporting that maybe they're focused on Justin Verlander, or they increase their interest on Justin Verlander now because deGrom's gone, and Verlander, he's not going to get a 5-year deal. It's probably going to be a shorter 2-3-year deal. So that they could just offer Verlander what they offered deGrom, and maybe Verlander takes that $40 million a year and goes to the Mets and reunites with Max Scherzer. Who knows? Where do the Mets pivot? That's going to be a question that could be answered during this winter meetings week. Number 3, does the first shortstop sign? Does that kind of create a trickle-down effect? Dansby Swanson, Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts, Trey Turner, they are all free agents. Which one signs first? You would think it's Dansby Swanson because he's going to make the least amount of money, you would think. That's what we're seeing from the predictions among those 4 shortstops. And then once he signs, then you have, the big guys sign for more money. It could also go the total opposite way, where Swanson signs last because you have the Phillies, you have the Padres, according to reports, you have the Dodgers, you have the Braves, right, looking for a shortstop. Maybe the Angels get in there. Maybe the Giants, if they lose out on Judge. So maybe they're going to go, these teams that are involved in the shortstops, they're going to go for Turner, Correa, Bogaerts, the big guys. And then that last team that doesn't end up with one of those 3 guys, then they pivot to Swanson. So who knows what will happen? Maybe it's Swanson that goes first to get that out of the way. Maybe goes back to Atlanta. And then you see the big guys go, or you see the big guys go, Trey Turner sign with the Phillies or sign with the Padres or somewhere. And then you see the other guys go find spots that still need shortstops. So that, I think one of the big shortstops at least will go during this winter meetings week. Trey Turner has met twice with the Padres. I've already discussed that. I talked about that last night on the show. So you can go watch or listen to that. And we know that he's going to meet with the Phillies, or he might have already met with the Phillies. We don't know. But the Phillies have met or at least going to meet with all four of the big shortstops. So they're going to get one of them. It's just a matter of who. And obviously the big storyline for the Padres going into this, I thought it was going to be starting pitching, and that's one of the headlines. But the big headline, because you have Rosenthal reporting this and Dennis Lin and John Heyman talking about it too. The big headline is, are they really interested in Trey Turner? Are they going to enter a bidding war? Like, are they really interested in getting into a bidding war with the Phillies or getting into a bidding war with the Giants or the Dodgers or another team to go get Trey Turner or go get Xander Bogaerts? The Red Sox are another team I should have mentioned, along with the Braves, Dodgers, and the Phillies, right, that are looking for shortstops because they don't have one. Bogaerts is a free agent. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I still don't think the Padres are going to get Trey Turner. I don't think they're going to get Xander Bogaerts. I think their priority should be the starting pitching market, but they couldn't do that through trades as well and go get like a low salary starting pitcher and make it work that way. So we shall see with that. So that's 4. Question number 5, what will Boris say during these winter meetings? I mean, he always has his big media scrum, and at the GM meetings, he was really playing up his agent, not his agents, he's the agent, playing up his clients. With Taijuan Walker, someone's gonna Taipei. Like, who's going Taipei instead of Tupe? And with Pro good. Like, he likes trying to make those not jokes, but you get what I'm saying, like metaphors and stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. That's going to be interesting, and because reporters, whenever Boris speaks, everyone goes and sees what Boris is going to say, and he obviously has big free agents, like he does every year. Trey Turner is not a Boris client, but he does have Xander Bogaerts, which is obviously of interest to Padres fans. He has Profar, who may or may not come back to the Padres. Who knows what his market is going to look like. He has some other guys that the Padres might be interested in as well. Michael Conforto's on there. He has a lot of guys, like he always does. So it'll be interesting to see what he says and what he thinks of the market. I assume that he loves what the market looks like, because you have relievers, getting $46 million. You have Edwin Diaz getting over $100 million from the Mets. You have teams like the Rangers paying a guy that hasn't been able to stay healthy all year for the last few years $185 million. You have Justin Verlander maybe getting like $40 million a year. You have Aaron Judge maybe getting 9 years, even though he's already past the age of 30, right? Isn't he? Or is he 29? 30. He's already 30. And he could get a 9-year deal. So I assume that he likes where this free agent market is. I'm sure a lot of agents do as well. So that's another question. Who's the big spender going to be? I think that's a very intriguing question. I thought, or going into this week, I still think that it's going to be either the Giants or the Yankees. Like, that's the big spender, because whoever gets Aaron Judge, that's the big spender. That's going to be the biggest contract. Who's going to sign the most players? I don't know. If Judge goes back to the Yankees, maybe the Giants go spend on starting pitching and a shortstop, and they really make those splashes like that. Maybe the Rangers continue spending. I would think that they will continue adding to their team. I don't know if it's going to be via free agency, because they just spent a lot of money on DeGrom. But Bruce Bochy did not come into the Rangers to just sit there and not contend, right? So they're going to continue adding. So I would think they're going to be spending. I think the Phillies are going to be a big spender. Those are just some candidates there that could be big spenders. The Padres obviously could be a candidate, but again, I don't see them getting Turner or Bogart, so I don't think they will be the biggest spender. I think it's either the Giants or the Yankees, because whoever ends up with Judge is going to be seen as probably the biggest spender. Another question, will Brian Reynolds be traded? Because he has requested a trade, according to a lot of reporters today. I think J.P. Mackey, is that his name? Last name Mackey, from Pittsburgh. He's a reporter there, covers the Pirates. And he broke that today. Brian Reynolds, he is a center fielder. He's an outfielder. He was an all-star in 2021. And I tweeted this out today. after we heard about the Brian Reynolds news and rumors and all that, Brian Reynolds, he is scheduled to make only $6.75 million in 2023. He has 3 more years of control. So that is an intriguing guy. That's going to be an intriguing guy for a lot of teams, but the Pittsburgh Pirates don't seem like they're going to trade him, or at least that's the stance that they're taking entering these winter meetings. Brian Reynolds requested a trade, according to reporters today, and then the Pirates responded with a statement saying something to the effect. Here, let me find it. I tweeted it on my personal Twitter. It was weird. So this was the Pirates saying, while it is disappointing, this will have zero impact on our decision-making this offseason or in the future. Our goal is to improve the Pirates for 2023 and beyond. With 3 years until he hits free agency, Brian remains a key member of our team. We look forward to him having a great season for the Pirates. So Brian Reynolds wants out, and the Pirates are like, well, while it sucks Brian Reynolds doesn't want to be with us anymore, we look forward to him being with us this next season. Like, they're kind of like, screw you, Brian. You don't want to be here. We're going to make you be here. Like, we don't care. So, look, I don't know if I buy that from the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, do you really see Brian Reynolds, if you're the Pirates, is he the guy to build around? I mean, he's a good player, but what is he right now? He's already like 30, right? And they're not supposed to contend for another couple years, right? A few years. He is. Oh no, he's 27. Okay, so he's actually in his prime. So yeah, they could build around him, but I think that there's going to be a lot of teams interested. That's for dang sure. I don't think. I mean, the Padres, they seem like a fit, right? Like, Brian Reynolds could play center. I'm sure he could play left. I think his primary position this past season was center field. So maybe they trade Trent Grisham and prospects to the Pirates for Brian Reynolds, and that would be an upgrade over Trent Grisham, you would think. Like, Brian Reynolds was an all-star in 2021, and he didn't have a great year or as great as his 2021 season this past year, but he still hit 27 home runs, which I believe is his career high. Yeah, career high. After hitting 24 homers in 2021, follows it up with 3 more this past season. He hit 302 in 2021, only 262 this past year, but he had more home runs this past year. His OPS was over 800. Like, this is a really good player. I don't think that he's worth giving up Jackson Merrill for. Like, I will say that. I did see that floating around a little bit on social media today. Like, do they give up Grisham and Kim and Merrill for Reynolds? Like, that seems like way too much. One, you got to have a shortstop. Sure, they could go bring in Reynolds and sign Turner or sign Bogarts or something like that, and it's not a problem anymore. But as of now, they don't have a shortstop to start the season, really, if you trade Kim, if you get Reynolds. And I don't want to give up Jackson Merrill for Reynolds. I mean, Reynolds is not Juan Soto. Reynolds is a great player, and some of you might be willing to give up Jackson Merrill for him. But, I mean, the Padres, they don't have any, like, star position players in their farm system. Merrill is, like, the guy. Because after that, it's Dylan Lesko. He's a pitcher, right? So, I'd be willing to give up, like, Samuel Zavala, someone like that, maybe Joshua Mears. But giving up the top prospect, Jackson Merrill, when you could move Tatis to the outfield and bring in Brandon Drury to play first or something like that, bring back Josh Bell, make a move like that, maybe that's smarter. And you go, pay for pitching. They could trade for pitching as well. Mitch Keller, I think, is a Pirate. So you could trade for Keller. You could trade for Reynolds and Keller. But I think there's going to be a lot of interest in Brian Reynolds. And right now, if you just look at that Pirates quote, they don't envision trading Brian Reynolds right now. And because they don't envision trading Brian Reynolds, it's going to take a lot for the Pirates to change their minds on that. And I don't even know if just trading Jackson Merrill to them, I don't think that would be enough. Like, it would have to be more than that. I don't think Grisham and Merrill would be enough. It'd probably have to be more than that. So we'll see. I don't know how great the Padres line up on a trade with Brian Reynolds, especially after trading Wood and Hassel and Abrams and Gore this past season, obviously, in that Juan Soto trade. They also traded Yohan Susanna, that young pitcher. So they traded a lot of top-end prospects, a lot of talented prospects. So their farm system, I mean, Preller, he probably thinks it's appealing. I think he has said that to the media, that Baseball America and whoever rates the farm systems, like the people in the industry view the Padres farm system as a lot better than the rankings that we see online. But still, I think other teams have more to give up and might be more willing to give those prospects up than Preller would be willing to give up Jackson Merrill. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my thoughts on that. He would fit the Padres in terms of like money. Instead of giving Profar like $15 million a year, like we've heard might happen, or that's at least the contract that he might get in free agency, like $15 million a year. Instead of doing that, you could pay someone who's better than Profar a lot less money. You could pay him what Profar was making this past year. Profar made like $7 million, right? So you pay Brian Reynolds less than $7 million for 2023. You have him for 3 years of control this year, 2024, 2025. Like that fits, but you're going to have to give up a lot for him. So that's another storyline. Will Brian Reynolds be traded? Who knows? We'll see. So that's question number 7. Question number 8 for me is with Wilson Contreras in the catching market. Like, will Wilson Contreras sign during the winter meetings? I believe he's going to meet with the Astros in San Diego. I saw a report about that. Will Sean Murphy be traded? What about the Blue Jays catchers? You know, I'm hearing Danny Jansen's name thrown around. I think once Contreras signs, then there'll be some effects of that. And teams that, let's say Contreras goes to the Astros, okay, the Cardinals need catching. So they're going to go out and get maybe a Blue Jays catcher or get Sean Murphy, right? The Braves, I mean, they're good on catching, but I've seen reports on MLB trade rumors about them checking in on Sean Murphy. So that's the question. That's question number 8 for me is what happens with the catching market there?